This is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41, brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married at Childers. This is where I was dropped off after I was kidnapped. I was 2 years old, and this is me. That's Lina. The twins were born out of wedlock, and she killed both twins, and the family covered it up. And I was dropped off there, I assume, at the Cortland Air Base, which was built during that time. And this picture was taken in 43 when I was about, well, I guess I was dropped off at 2 in 41, so 3 years old, 3.5, 4. Now then, the reason I'm doing this is I don't know if I can get it across, and I don't know if people care unless they were able to see it in motion as I live my life. And you'd have to see behind closed doors the laws broken and all that. So, and the reason for it, I found out I did a medical malpractice book. I'd worked for doctors, and I wrote about mind control murders, modifying people's behavior, children's, and programming them to go out and kill, whether it's a knife or run somebody down or take a plane down, because they're under mind control and programmed, and they're victims. But I was writing about that. Larry FLYNT was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. He did this article, April of '84, and Larry McDonald was the doctor I wrote about, and I put this on a lot of videos, and I want to make sure I make my point on this, so I'm going to go to it in a minute. In '83, August of '83, the 31st, Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor from Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta, the plane he was aboard, the KAL 007, was shot down by the Russians when he veered into the airspace. And this is how you can make pilots program the plane wrong or veer into airspace and the plane goes down or just fly into the ocean. But anyway, I was doing the book, and Larry FLYNT was brought into Lawrenceville, Georgia in court, and the person that shot him was programmed to shoot him and kill his attorney. So he flew me out and supported me during the campaign. And I want to say again, because I hope and pray I have some life left to find my children. I hope they're alive and have a day that I can breathe and have a happy life of what's left of it. He told me I was out there twice, October of '83, and I didn't know about my real name until a little later. But he told me the last time I was out there, and it's cryptic. He said there's no room in the inn, I-N-N. Well, it's certainly, if you hear this, and I'll go to it real quick in a minute. I came up here in '83, and I'm sorry, I came up here in '86 because, quite frankly, my jobs had been shut down, and I had a letter, and I thought it was because of the book I wrote from the FBI, June the 23rd of '79. Ongoing investigation, national security involved. Well, it was the book and the names in it, but it was really who I am in my kidnapping and who my father is. When I came up here in '86, I didn't get back with Flynn anymore. His power of attorney was taken, and he was put in Butner. And I never, he furnished me a car for a year, and that was it. But I want to say I lived in the forest. If you can't get a job, you can't get a place to live, you run. Well, I lived in the forest and froze and starved. And the rangers, would, it's not funny, you can't tell it. But you have to hear what I'm responding to and the laws they're breaking. This is just a receipt where I had to pay, quote, for living in the forest, and they even put me in jail. But if you can go back, the times they put me in jail were when some mind control murders, like the Timothy McVeigh, the Waco, Texas, and I could go on. Well, I was there about 4 times, and I was really in jail in charge. That's not even my name I'm using. My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I'm going to say this and try to get it in. My father, Edward VIII, and this is not a picture I usually show, he did not marry Wallace Simpson, a double did. This is my aunt, artist Georgia O'Keeffe. And my mother's her baby sister, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe. And my sons, Mark and Scott, I don't know where they are. I hope and pray they're alive, are heirs after me. So their lives have been in jeopardy just like mine. Now then, what they've done to me, they've engaged all the agencies, and it makes you, if somebody doesn't, nobody could, there's 99 years still put on my dad's forced abdication, and an addendum to it, where if he had an heir, it would not disinherit the heir, and it's all legal, very legal, but it's under seal for 99 years to cover up the crimes. My God history records my father marrying this American spy, and none of that was true. The lies they told to take down my Uncle George VI, who's illegal, who helped the Kennedys and the Jews, the Rothschilds, the New World Order. This all happened after they kidnapped me, all this mess, the treaties, illegal treaties. So the United States installed its own monarchy over there. They stole the real monarch and put me over here and took my father and mother away from me and didn't even give my mother her rightful name, Windsor, married to my father. And yet you have Princess Grace Kelly that everybody loves. Well, my mom was from this country. I'm probably she wouldn't want to even say that if, you know, my mother's dead and my father's dead. They were older when I was born. And I was taken from them at age 2 and put in that hellhole. Now then, what I wanted to get to, though, and I'm going to try to read it. I have an immune disorder, which I put up here, and if you think that's cute or something, it's not. It's hell. If you're force-fed toxic fumes, which I've been, my immune system shuts down, attacks itself, inflammation, and over years it's murdering me. Now I'm going to tell you what they when I came up here to Roanoke, because I had nowhere to go. I lived on the trail, starved, froze, all the TV know it. I mean, not just here in Roanoke, in Atlanta, in Huntsville, all over, about the mind control murders and my kidnapping. And I will say this, in the beginning, when I go to my doctor, and I've been going to a doctor here for a long time from Roanoke, and I'm not going to mention the name, I liked her, but when I tried to tell her what was happening to me, I was shushed. I even asked her, because I had to break leases, which are bad, looking for me, and nobody wants to hear this, and I can't even tell it on this tape. I've put it on others' videos. But law enforcement went in and made arrangements like at Joseph's Dream, which black minister mower out of Washington, North Carolina, owns a whole slew of them. Well, Section 8 is bad enough to not even have a home and have all my money and title stolen from me. I'm over here living in hell and begging for Section 8. Well, the same thing was done there and at Richfield and Edinburgh, as in everywhere I've gone. It was prearranged and if I got a place to live, and I paid on time. But anyway, you get the gist of it. Section 8 would tie up, it's connected with federal funding. So law enforcement, what they've done is gone in, and I wrote it down here so I'd try to get it. Law enforcement brokered deals, and I'm talking about top, federal, state, and local. The old saying, everybody has something to hide, to get persons to participate in criminal ongoing acts that are done to me. They would drop charges if the person would, or persons would help. The persons were allowed to keep jobs and benefits, and their children might have had driving infractions or drugs, etc., and the charges would be dropped or lessened. And at the apartments, in other words, all these people have broken the law. If it's an apartment or anywhere you're living, usually there are smoke detectors, there's fire inspectors that come by. So if they find infractions,